Afternoon or early evening, ladies and gents, however you want to look at it. Still in East London Cemetery. I'll be sharing these not all on one day but over days, so I'll just film them all at once, so it's done then. We are at the Jarvis family grave. An entire family of 10. You have Sarah Jarvis, who was the mother, aged 39, and her children: Hannah, aged 16, Mary Ann, aged 14, Thomas, aged 12, William, aged 10, Louisa, aged 8 years, Alice, aged 5 years, George, aged 3 years, and Caroline, aged 2 years, and Elizabeth, aged 8 months, who perished by fire on the morning of the 28th of December 1897 at Dixie Street, Bethnal Green. What's that say? It's like a little bit of a verse, but you can't really see him greatly now. See where it says also there. Let me put my hat down a minute. I can move that, show that. In the midst of life, we are in death. That's what that said. And it's got also Thomas Jarvis. He was the husband. There's a story behind that. Let me put the angel back. I'll put that there so it doesn't cover his name up. There's a story behind that. He was in hospital, ill, probably likely dying anyway. His entire family, his wife and children, just wiped out in a fire in Dixie Street on 28th of December in the night time. The Dixie Street lodgings or house where they were, it was a right slum dwelling thing, and people had been moaning about the street and things for years. Apparently there was problems with bollards, so they did have fire engines in those days, like horse-drawn ones and whatnot, and they couldn't get in or out, and people had been saying for a while this is a disaster waiting to happen, and these poor people were obviously that disaster. So they all died. This man, Thomas Jarvis, he's in hospital, very ill, likely dying. No one can bring themselves to tell the poor man, I'm sorry, like, your entire family's been wiped out in a fire. He died a day or two later. Basically never knowing, well, obviously whether he knew or not once he'd died, I don't know, it depends what you believe. But while he was alive, he didn't know that his entire family had been wiped out in a tragic fire. I mean, that's awful. And this case was one of the things that started really making people look at social welfare and how the poor were being treated and stuff like that, because this was an absolute outcry over this at the time. It really was. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think it was something to do with gas lighting pipes that went wrong, proper dodgy. And at the gravestone, at the top of the gravestone, it's got erected by a few inhabitants of Bethnal Green, so it was a public subscription that bought the grave. This is a private grave, and bought the headstone. So you've got 11 people buried in this one grave. I mean, it's sunk down. You believe it or not, a couple of years ago, if you go and find a grave, a couple of years ago, maybe about 3 or 4, I cleaned this grave because I felt so sorry for these people, and the grave was really grimy. But as you can see, it's pretty grimy again now, so, and my health isn't great, so I can't do that again. But yeah, hopefully maybe one day it will get raised up and sorted out, because this is a big part of East End history and social history and social justice as well, because this caused a big outcry and people were really peed that this had been allowed to happen, and that these people were kind of just swept under the carpet, and they weren't in a way, because it was in the papers and everything. There are newspaper clippings from the original time about it. I had some, but they've gone missing. But that was from Bancroft Road Archives. But you can find so much online about it now, and I'll share some more stuff on this post. I'm doing this one first because one of my favourite page members, who shall be known as the Lady Marion, she wanted, this was choice 2. Choice A was Elizabeth Stride, and choice B, this is choice B. So this is the second one we're doing, and others will follow. We've done the Roman Catholic section of the cemetery, some spies, and there's more interesting, and Queenie Watts as well, the famous actress, London East End girl Queenie Watts, and there's more stuff to follow as well. But yeah, as you can see, someone's put a fairly newish roof down there. This grave's always been tended to, and people have always put flowers on it and stuff, so it's obviously people felt so sorry for him. What I would love to see, I mean, I haven't got the money to get it done, I would love to see this raised up properly so you can see Thomas Jarvis's name and everything again, and this stone bit like as it should be. Obviously, because there are so many buried in there and things happen, that's why it's sunk down. But I don't know how you'd go about that, who even owns the lease to this grave to get that kind of thing done. I mean, I don't even know if it's past its date of being a private grave. The cemetery would never get rid of it, like, because you can see they take care and they clip the grass and keep it neat and stuff like that. Otherwise, this would be completely covered over if not for the work the cemetery do and other people and stuff. I mean, I washed the stone once, which took me a good hour or more, but I'm not fit and able enough to do that anymore, I'm afraid. But yeah, if you go and find a grave, you'll see it looking bright and shiny. I'll go on there because I've put hundreds of over the years of the graves in this cemetery on Find a Grave, because it helps other people with their genealogy, family history search. Because you research a person, and obviously the end part of it is finding when they died, where they're buried, and if there's still a gravestone and stuff. And I've had a couple of people who have messaged me and said, "Oh, thanks for putting this on. I didn't know this was still there," or "We've been searching for this burial for years." When I did this one and cleaned it, I put the picture of it on clean, and I had someone ask me who I was and why I'd cleaned it and whatnot. And then other people said, like, "Oh, thank you for cleaning it," and that. It was really nice of you. But yeah, so that's the poor Jarvis family. It's all killed on the 28th of December 1897, Dixie Street, Bethnal Green. Yeah, it's tragic, really. Tragic. I mean, I'll put accounts, and there's a lot on the internet about this now. There was stuff on there, but the internet has made everything open, of course. That's what I mean. Like, there's so much more available now, other than when I first looked into these people, which was when I first started my own family tree, which was in the year 2001. That's 20 odd years ago. I mean, I had to go to Bancroft Road Archives and root through the newspaper clippings, because like someone I know very close to was really they write, and they was interested in this as well, so I got them the clippings and that. But it's such a long time ago now. But yeah, it's all available online anyway. So we'll get you to 8 minutes on this one, and I shall be quiet and give a few minutes silence for the Jarvis family.